library and poverty, or protecting your world from loss of wisdom and brilliance. This text is for young people, but not just young in age. Even so, it is pretty rebellious, but also crafted to serve as a start. Prove it wrong. Prove it right. But most importantly, keep on learning. Don't do the same thing and expect different results. Rise. Do not let your guardians destroy you, just to whimper in the end. How was I supposed to know? As you can no doubt tell, there exist extremely sacred places on earth, and they are untouchable by presidents, prime ministers, priests, and popes. They are called the libraries. And any and all a dumbass who try their hand at their destruction will perish. A dumbass doesn't need much to perish. The libraries are under a constant attack, and each attack is more clever than the previous. Today, libraries are flooded by meaningless books whose shareholders and authors purchased the label of bestseller for. You can't just check out one of the top-selling books anymore. They are highly likely to hold no value whatsoever. They will not change your life for the better, and sometimes peddle a secret so simplistic that it will hurt your ego. Something like, try the same thing every day, as you may eventually arrive at the result that you are expecting. That is beyond useless. It's not just nerd advice, it's advice that gives you problems. That is how you play lottery, how you could get lucky someday. And it is not real advice about rising or building. That kind of advice wastes your time and your energy for reading good books. It really just makes a total fool out of you for attempting to read such a work of nonsense. Such inventions, if backed by a large investment, will be advertised all over the media and rely on word of mouth of people who have never read a book before. It's not exactly an attack directed at destroying libraries, but it is a sign of times. Filling libraries with meaningless books or just downright closing them is not how the world can be attacked. Here, everyone is visible, everyone has a role to play, and you can point fingers at people. When you hear of people burning books, they are showing off their power. So, messing with libraries is not a very good attack. Let's talk about a real one. A real attack will destroy your energy and your mind, and completely so. And it will be as swift as the strike of a skilled warrior. Here's how it will work. Your parents will become poor, and they will force you to work. In distress, you will have no time to tend to your brilliance and give up thinking all on your own. And just like no islander remembers the last tree on Easter Island, no one will notice the passing of the last dreamer. Once you have fought your way to a sliver of happiness and joy, your uneducated children will be taken to fight in a war created by uneducated men who have no idea how to repair an economy. They simply wait for it to fail and restart it with war. Those who will return will be changed, happy and proud, and with medals on their chest, but so much so that the hearts of mothers will still break. And the others won't really return at all. Your well-meaning parents and your hard work and the training of all the soldiers is all very meaningful on its own. These are real efforts and they are honorable. But things become different when such a thing is done on purpose, by simply not caring about people, by not caring about the future of humankind, doing as little as possible as not to stir anything up, and putting in minimal effort while taking the maximum gain. If replaying wars every century was not bad enough, these failed leaders will claim greatness, because only a great being could send millions to die in war. Then they will choke on their vomit to the silent merriment of the guards at their door, which marks the war as something that wasn't even necessary, as something that could have been avoided had they choked on their vomit earlier. This is all very terrible, but very feeble. There is one thing you can do to stop it from ever happening, and that one thing is never letting go of your brilliance. So as long as you don't put yourself in a situation where you hate Mondays and Tuesdays and wait for Wednesdays and Thursdays, so as long as you stand up for your creativity, no matter the cost, the world will be safe, because no one will be able to turn off your mind. No one will be able to bring back the dark age where people become vulnerable to being simply shipped off to war. But it is, of course, not just about letting go of your brilliance, because human beings are meant to grow. So it's about tending to your brilliance, about growing. It's a simple attack, though effective, and it has been tried multiple times before. And the solution to prevent such an attack is also simple. It's just learning, keeping brilliant, continuing to rise. This attack has not yet happened to you, hopefully, and now that you know about it, it never will. You must never, ever sacrifice your brilliance for any reason, and you must protect libraries as well as schools. It is a mistake for you to think that you are just a student, while letting your teacher pretend to teach. Here, you have to learn to teach them a lesson. No matter how young you are or how insignificant you may feel, you have to permanently hold the course for humanity, for all the future. A course that is away from the inauthentic, the make-believe, and all the pretenders that just want to take. These are people who will manipulate your own family against you, who won't even flinch as you click off your mind to become a worker with the words, "I can't, I have a job now." You are up against a force that can destroy the world. I'm sure you have bullies in school. Look how easily poverty and stupidity corrupted their minds. One day, they had morose countenance. They were sad and depressed. And then, a switch was flipped. They started smiling in a weird way and became just as their fathers are. Frightening, mean, and cruel. You must protect your brilliance, your heart, and your soul. And at every step, you become a warrior. Fighting does not make a warrior, it just makes a snarling beast. Rising is how you become one. As you can see, corrupting libraries and corrupting families with poverty is not a force that you trifle with. Go to the sacred place, to the library, and find the old books about the old philosophers. Learn about who they were and see if maybe they are worthy of your friendship. Begin growing up towards the great beings that they became, because they have built our world, layer by layer, that allows us to rise high enough to enjoy the modern culture that we have today. Forgetting what they did, forgetting the steps that brought us here, will drag us down. In fact, becoming a philosopher is not optional. It is a very important part of growing up. And you become one by becoming friends with all those who came before you. Already, things are pretty broken, most tragically. You will not really know a real school unless you build one yourself. You will not have a real graduation unless you walk the Triple Crown of hiking. The world is still being built, and you are asked not just to become one of its builders, but also a protector of what we have thus far created. May you not know peace until you become a great being.